All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD 1000 Web Development Technologies course, I've been creating a series of video presentations that are based off of the Mozilla Developer Network Learn Web Development series. And right now, I am in the client-side JavaScript frameworks and we're talking React. All right, and we're talking React and React State, and we're up to the putting it all together, adding a task. And as the author says here, now that we practiced with events, callback props, and hooks, we're ready to write the functionality that will allow the user to add a new task from their browser. So import use state into app.js. I thought I already had that, but maybe that was in a different file. Yep, it was in form.js. So let's put it into app.js as well. All right. We want to pass props.tasks into the use state hook. This will preserve its initial state. Add the following right at the top of your app function definition. All right. Now we can change our task list mapping so that it is result of mapping tasks instead of prop tasks. Your task list constant declaration should now look like this. All right, so let's do this. Oops. Well, now I screwed it up. Let's fix it. So we've got that, and I'm not sure if this now is correct or incorrect. It might be in here twice, it looks like right now, so let's fix that. All right. Hopefully that's correct and I didn't ball anything up, but we'll find out. We've now got a set tasks hook that we can use in our add task function to update our list of tasks. There's currently a problem. We can't just pass the name argument of add task into set tasks because tasks is an array of objects and name is a string. If we did this, the array would be replaced with a string, which is, of course, not what you want. First of all, we need to put a name into an object that has the same structure as our existing tasks inside of the add task function. We will make a new task object to add to the array, which seems to make some sense. We then need to make a new array with this task added to it and then update the state of the task's data to this new state. To do this, we can use the spread syntax to copy the existing array and then add the object onto the end. We then pass that array into the set tasks to update the state. Putting that all together, your add task function should now look like this. All right, so like that to this. And again, the idea here is what we want to be able to do is take what we're about to put into the input after we click the add button and add that into our array of tasks. All right, it sounds like we're putting it at the end in here. Now you can use the browser to add a task to our data. Type anything you want in the form, click add, or press the enter key, and you'll see the new to-do appear in the UI. Well, let's see. Well, doesn't like something. In our app, set tasks is not defined. Tasks is not defined. And it's probably before when I remove that stuff. So let's look for one thing in here. I'm going to go a little bit off here and say, okay, doggone it. All right. I think since I've screwed this up royally, I think what I'm going to have to do is do a bunch of Control Z's. Try to get this looking the way it was looking before. All right, so now we're back at the start, I believe. So let's see. So the first thing that we were told to do here, because I backed it way the hay up, it was to change that import react, or add that to the top. All right, that's in there now. Save. Next, we were told to put this at the top of the app function definition. Okay. Now we can change our task list mapping so that as a result of the mapping, your task list constant declaration should now look like so. And that was this. So I'm going to just remove what was there and replace it with that. All right. Okay, we've now got the set of tasks, etc. We already went through this. Putting that all together, your add task function should now read like this. Which was in here. All right. Now we still very well might have a problem. So let's just look. It says you can now use it to add this. Well, what do we have now? We're still getting error. Nope. Yep. Set tasks is not defined and tasks is not defined. They're both on line 40 in our app.js file. So let's take a look at that. So it's right here. That's set tasks right there. One of two things must be happening here. Either I have to take this out, which this doesn't make sense to me, but let's see. Make that a global constant. Let's see if that fixes it. Now I'm getting different errors, so React hooks cannot be called from the top level. Okay. So doesn't like that. I don't need that in here anymore then. And that should change the error back to what we had before. All right, set tasks is not defined and tasks is not defined on line 40. Now, what that could mean is this, what I've got in here should be defined inside of here, and I'm not positive one way or the other. So I'm going to try that. Well, now as you can see, it's back. So let's see if we put something in here. So I'll put down buy groceries. Click add. It's gone. Did buy groceries appear in here? Hello. We've got it. All right. So again, this is the biggest thing in here. And as much as I very much appreciate this, what they have in here, I wish they would have done a little better job of explaining what code goes where. All right. Part of that's on me. All right. Now we can use the browser to add a task. We did that. However, we have another problem. Our add task function is giving each task the same ID. This is bad for accessibility, and it makes it impossible for React to tell future tasks apart with a key prop. In fact, React will give you a warning in your DevTools console. Warning, encounter two children with the same key. Don't know if I got that or not, but if we go to inspect, eat dinner. Add, encounter two children with the same key. So you can see we are getting that as they mentioned. All right. We need to fix this. Making unique identifiers is a hard problem, one for which the JavaScript community has written some helpful libraries. They're going to use Nanoid because, as it says, it's tiny and it works. Make sure you're in the root directory of the application and run the following terminal command. All right. So in other words, to get back to the root of the application, we have to go back. Let's close everything we've got open and open this. We're at the root right now, which means that we're right in the moz-to-do-react. And we want to open git bash here. Let's make our screen bigger so you can see what's going on. Whoop, and let's paste that in. Now, this is how a way at least that you can install packages from the Node Package Manager, npm install. Now, a couple things. First, as you see in here, there's going to be a bunch of stuff that gets written in here because there's so much stuff that's happening behind the scenes. Some of it to me makes sense. Some of it to me makes very little sense. But it did say updated one package in here. All right. Now it says it's found some vulnerability, so there could still be some issues in here. Probably at least that's some internal stuff, but we'll see if that works its way out as we go through this. I'm not using yarn. Now, if we import Nanoid to the top of app.js, we can use it to add IDs. So include the following at the top of app.js. There it is. Now let's update add task so that each task becomes a prefix to do plus a unique string generated by Nanoid. Update our new task constant declaration to this. So right now where we've got our const, is that const? Yeah. Update your new task constant declaration to this. I don't think we have that in there. So let's put that in. I don't see a new task. Let's look. Oh, there it is. Good. I'm glad I'd looked. All right, so we have this in here right now. They want us to remove this and replace it. So let's leave it in there. And this is what we have now. All right, so we've got the ID. Rather than just ID, it's to do plus Nanoid. Then we've got the name and the completed. So that's what we're adding. So ideally, at least, we'll have a unique ID. And again, I want you to understand why this is important. All right, because eventually we want to be able to come in and filter tasks based on certain things and, based on some criteria. And what we want to do is we want to have only certain tasks or to-dos to come back, the ones that meet that criteria. And the way we have to do that is we need a unique, all right, a unique ID. Now, I'm just going to go off on a little bit of a tangent here and tell you that years ago, one summer, years ago, I was hired by a place while I was teaching, but during the summer I wasn't teaching any classes. So this was a place, and they were a health organization, actually a World Health Organization, not the World Health Organization, but they had uh, different offshoots, so to speak, all over the world. And what they wanted, they literally were getting hit hundreds of thousands of times a day with people all over the world asking for different things. And what they wanted was to be able to track every single thing that they were doing. And they wanted every single thing that came in, every request or every whatever that came in, to be logged. And they wanted to make sure it had a unique identifier. So, after some give and take and talking about this, I suggested that what we do is, for each one that came through, I would create a unique identifier based on the person or group or whatever that was doing it, but I would preface it at the beginning with the current date and the current time. And the time was down to the millisecond. All right. So if you had two places from the same organization submitting something at the same time, there was virtually no chance that they would do it at exactly the same millisecond. All right. Why am I telling you that? Because that's another example of when I came in there, you need a unique ID. So the more you're working with this stuff, and again, imagine that eventually we wanted to take these to-dos and put them into a database. All right. You'd want some way to be able to tell each to-do, to differentiate between each one. And that's what we're talking about here. All right, save everything and try your app again. You can now add tasks without worrying or warning about duplicate IDs. So let's try that. So I'm going to come back into here. Come back into here and into here. All right, I'm going to refresh. All right, and we'll come in here and I'll just say fix lunch. Click add. I'm in the console, and let's see if I still get that. And I did not. That's good. Now, when I close this, notice as well, I've got my fixed lunch is in there. All right. The one that I had from before, the other one, buy groceries, is not in there, but this is in there. All right. And notice if I refresh, all right, it's gone. So we need some way for this to last between page refreshes, and we're going to look at that in just a bit. All right, I'm going to stop now, and I'm going to pick it up again on this. Well, we've got detour. Let's look at the detour quick. Now that we can add new tasks, you may notice a problem. Our heading 3 reads 3 tasks remaining, no matter how many tasks we have. We can fix this by counting the length of the task list and changing the heading appropriately. Add this inside your app definition right before the return statement. All right, and basically, as it says there, that's going to use a template literal, and it's going to grab that property, the task list dot length. Oops, I missed the C and const. So put this right before the return statement in app. There it is, right here. All right. It says, this is almost right, except that if our list ever contains a single task, the heading will use the word tasks. We can make this a variable too. Update the code as shown. They're being very literal here. And what I mean is they want to say one task as opposed to 2 tasks with an S. So singular and pluralizing. All right, so update your code as follows. Update the code you just added as follows. And what this is doing is it's using the ternary operator right here that says if it's equal to 1, you want to say task. If it's not equal to 1, you want to say tasks. All right, it'll just look a little nicer, a little bit more professional. Now you can replace the listing's text content, that H2, with the heading text variable. Update your H2 like this. So let's do this, run it again, and then we will go down to the completing the task. was that supposed to go? It's your H2 with an ID of list heading. There it was. And again, that was hard-coded in there. All right. This is a very easy one to test because we can just come back in here. We'll add a task and see if this goes from 3 to 4. All right. So let's say, again, buy groceries. We click add. That changed to 4. And we've got buy groceries. Let's add a couple more. Pick up the kids. Add. It went to 5. That's down on the bottom. And finally, fix dinner. We're up to 6, and you see them there. Now notice that right now, these do not work. So I can't edit or delete a task. So it's going to stay at this. However, when I refresh, it goes back to 3. All right. We're going to be handling that in future lessons. So I'll be back with the completing a task in just a couple minutes.